to impeach or to not impeach. 2 years later, and for some odd reason, that is still the question. But hey, you know what we do here? We're going to break it down, we're going to discuss, and we're going to expose some hypocrisy. Thanks for tuning in to this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. So, what a surprise. Tulsi Gabbard has come under some fire for her comments on impeachment. As most of you all know, Trump came under fire because of a conversation that he had with the president of the Ukraine over the Biden issue, which is a different discussion, which we are going to discuss in a different video. But this particular discussion regarding impeachment is the more practical one because it is one that we're going to have to deal with literally for the next 2 years. So strap yourself in because it's not going anywhere. I've actually been talking about this plan for since the beginning of 2017. Actually, I gave almost an exact timeline of exactly how this plan is going to. I was like, look, Russiagate's going to fall flat on its face. They're going to keep indicting people, but it's only to make headlines so that you can keep talking about how the walls are closing in, the walls are closing in. This is going to be the day. And I said it wouldn't happen. However, I was very clear. I said, but what they're going to try to do anyway is impeach. Now, the impeachment would result in literally nothing. Nothing at all. And that doesn't matter. They're more concerned about going through the impeachment proceedings than they are about the actual prosecution of Trump, because they're trying to mire his administration in his upcoming campaign in controversy. It has nothing to do with accountability. And the truth of the matter is, most Americans know that. And that's just the harsh facts. So a lot of people make the argument that we will learn more about his corruption, like we don't already know basically. Like, what are you going to find out? That he violated the emolument clause. And I think all of us agree that he probably did. Why? Because 99% of Washington has violated the emolument clause, which is exactly why no one will bring up charges on the emolument clause. But that would probably be the only legitimate reason to do it. Or his, war crimes. But hey, let's be honest. This is America, and our presidents don't get prosecuted for war crimes. So let's check out this clip really quick of Tulsi Gabbard and her take on the impeachment proceedings.
Where do you stand on impeachment right this very moment?
Look, my position remains the same.
It does.
I think that impeachment would be terribly divisive for our already very divided country.
Even on an impeachment inquiry?
I think Congress needs to exercise oversight over the information that's been leaked. I think that it's important that this transcript is released to Congress so that Congress can do its job. But I think the question of impeachment really would further tear apart an already divided country. I think it's important that Donald Trump is defeated. I believe I can defeat him in 2020, but it's the voters who need to make that choice unequivocally.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There Tulsi go again with that common sense. I agree with her 100%. I agree with her 100%. Before we get into the facts, I want to show you all a few takes from some of our progressive allies, which, by the way, I'm really starting. I don't even know what that word means anymore. I'm not even joking. I wish I was exaggerating, but I don't even know what progressive means anymore. I feel like progressivism has kind of been co-opted by what one of my colleagues calls the screechy left. So, first thing we're going to look at, Mike Figueredo. Mike had this to say about Tulsi Gabbard's comments. Oh, give me a goddamn break. If you want people in power to stop being openly corrupt, you need to hold them accountable. Period. Okay? So, does this only apply to Trump? Out of curiosity? If we're going to hold somebody accountable, and let's hold him accountable for the right reason. The only reason that the impeachment inquiry arose was because of transcripts that we now know literally didn't violate any laws whatsoever. It's referring to an ongoing investigation in Biden's dealings with the Ukraine. Once again, ongoing. And I'm going to discuss this on the next show. But the conversation probably would have happened sooner. But a lot of people forget this Ukrainian president is new. And the last administration in Ukraine was installed literally by Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's State Department. Look up the New York Times article talking about Uranium One. So Trump wouldn't have been able to talk to the last administration. And in fact, he's actually accused of leveraging aid to get information. And it was actually Biden who leveraged aid. Just saying. So, that's Mike Figueredo's take. Now, here's the next take I want to show you. David Dole. You know, David Dole never lets us down with the hot takes. David Dole said Tulsi will hold people accountable. Being sarcastic. Biden, okay, no. Modi, okay, no. I don't know what she wants. What does he want? What does he want her to do with Modi again? Because what it sounds like is that you want her to advocate for regime change war. Because otherwise, India has its own government and they voted Modi in. And he has like a 75% approval rating. So you want to take that up with them? Because she's not going to advocate to overthrow a ruler because we don't like him. It's the opposite of how she operates. Trump. Okay, no. So she says that we're not. She doesn't try to hold Trump accountable. But last time I checked, who was the one that called Trump Saudi Arabia's bitch? Oh, okay. Who was the one who said that Trump would try to manufacture consent to go to war? Oh, okay. Who's actually the only one to push back on the narratives of Venezuela and Syria that Trump pushes? Because, to be quite honest with you, it isn't any progressive in office except for Tulsi. And it's damn sure nobody running that's pushed back harder on those narratives, understanding that it means advocating for regime change or war. Nobody else has pushed harder back. Nobody else who is running has pushed harder back on those narratives than Tulsi has. But hey, this is David, and we know how much he loves Tulsi. He goes on to say, but she did vote against Syrian refugees. No, she didn't. That's a lie. It's a literal lie. He's quoting Anna because, I don't know, David just takes Anna's word for everything. She didn't vote to ban Syrian refugees. Once again, the ignorance on this particular conversation is easily exposed by the fact that it's a talking point. Because they keep saying Syrian refugees. One, it does not ban Syrian refugees. Two, the bill that they're referring to actually discussed both Syrian and Iraqi refugees. But they never talk about the Iraqi refugees, which is weird. Three, it didn't ban anybody. It just said, hey, can we have an extended vetting period? Because at this point in time, we had just recently found out that we were literally funding terrorists in the region. And so if a terrorist was trying to escape accountability from whatever respective government, where do you think they would run? Oh, probably to the country where they were paid to be, or that they were paid by, or at least an ally of a country that they were paid by. So if they were funded by either Saudi Arabia or Pakistan, it's probably because we gave the money for them to be funded in one form or another. And so, given the circumstances, she said, can we just, do a vetting process? Oh, and then, by the way, which David likes to leave out, 3 months later, not even, same year, Tulsi advocated strongly to increase funding for refugees. She wrote a letter along with a few other members of Congress to increase funding for refugees. That's also the part of the story that I like to leave out. And then he also says that she's holding those born in Syria accountable for not already being born in America. What? First of all, y'all see how ridiculous this man is? He's so desperate to try and discredit or delegitimize Tulsi that he went from a conversation about impeachment to Modi to now she doesn't hold Trump accountable. Mind you, the conversation about Biden, which he might have an argument if the conversation about impeachment wasn't a conversation that was driven by holding Biden accountable. That's the whole reason we've had this conversation, because Trump is investigating, or the Trump administration anyway, is investigating Biden. And she's not even saying to interrupt it. She said, we got to see what's going on. We should see the transcripts for sure. But she didn't say interrupt it. So you're mad about Biden being held accountable. That's why you're pushing for impeachment, I thought. It makes no sense. But hey, let's move on to the next progressive champion. Oh, man. Oh, no, it's not that one. Hold up. I got you. So, this is what our next progressive champion had to say. Michael Brooks. Setting everything else aside, what is Tulsi's play on impeachment? What's her angle? Michael, what the hell? What are you talking about? Her play is that she's been campaigning around the country, and she realized what a lot of people have realized. This is just games. This is a waste of resources, a waste of money, a waste of time. It distracts away from the election that we're trying to have, and creates a focus on Trump rather than about policies. And you're aiding and abetting that effort. Congratulations. I know y'all hate the establishment Democrats, supposedly, but I swear to God, y'all do the best job at helping them every single chance you get. Now, David Dole chimes back in with just a beautiful take. A beautiful take. David said her angle is going against the grain. I'm going to tell you how funny that is. Her angle is going against the grain. It gets her more attention and time on television. I'm beginning to think that's also why she dropped out of the DNC and endorsed Sanders in 2016. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this nonsense? So now it is easy. It makes more sense for your career, for your personal career, to be attacked relentlessly, give up your anointed position as the queen of the Democratic Party, because that's, once again, this isn't my words, this is Van Jones' words. These are the words of several writers. She was about to be anointed the queen of the Democratic Party, and they fawned over her. She was being propped up to be president after Hillary Clinton. All she had to do was play ball. But let's take the path of least resistance and be attacked all the time from everywhere by doing the right thing, endorsing Bernie. That makes more sense, definitely, for sure. Yeah. Now, I want to tell you the most ironic part of David's little claim that she's going against the grain, quote unquote. I'm assuming that he means going against the grain as in the majority of Americans want impeachment, because that's what we're told, right? That's what the leftist best Twitter will tell you. That's what the TYT Twitter will tell you. That's what our little insulated Twitter world would have you believe, right? But people like myself, I live in the real world. People like Tulsi, who are campaigning around the country, by the way, she lives in the real world. And there's a reason that she is increasing in the polls. And everybody else who's trying to pander, they're dropping a little bit. Except for Warren, because she's getting the most media attention right now. And that is because Tulsi actually listens to people on the ground and sees the play on the field, rather than reacting to everything the Twitter world demands. Why do I say that? Because according to a poll conducted by USA Today, 59% of those surveyed responding that Trump should not be impeached and compelled to leave office. And that was a Monmouth poll. 59. That is 60%, people. 60% of the people polled said that they do not believe Trump should be impeached. So what exactly is David Dole suggesting by saying that Tulsi's going against the grain? Have you ever think that you're just in such an insulated echo chamber that you aren't living in reality anymore? I mean, David's all the way in Canada, so whatever. But like, have you ever thought about that? Like, maybe you are the one living in a. Like I said, I have a colleague. I ain't gonna say who it is, but you know who you are. I have a colleague. He calls him the screechy left. There's a reason that he calls him the screechy left, and this is why. Because everything is Trump bad, GOP bad. We're only gonna call out the Dems if they stand up to the candidate that I like, but if it's defend or call out both the Dems and the GOP equally for violating the same type of ethics, then no, we're not going to do that. Now, there's also this reality, like what Tulsi claimed. Once again, clearly paying attention to reality rather than a Twitter insulated echo chamber. Tulsi also talks about this dividing the country. People like myself, and Tulsi has mentioned it before, several other journalists have mentioned it before. We also understand this. Pretending that Trump's base is not a real thing, pretending that Trump is not still popular, pretending like the disdain for the Democrats is not as big of a problem as the Democrats want to pretend it is absolutely idiocy. It is a surefire way to lose this election. It's not really hard to predict either. The truth of the matter is, do the math. You can impeach him at the House level. But if you try and prosecute him, you literally don't have the numbers to do it. The last time we saw an unsuccessful impeachment was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's approval rating shot through the roof when they failed to impeach him. And if he would have ran again, he would have won. Well, he couldn't because it was obviously, he only had 2 terms. But if he would have ran again, he would have won in a landslide. And Bill Clinton's base is nothing, or was nothing, compared to the space that Trump has galvanized. Whether or not you like it, these are the facts. So me being the type of, I like to make bold predictions. And I said this. Give me a second, let me find it. I said this. This is 12:36 p.m. I said, at this point, the Dems are basically campaigning for Trump. So, nothing has changed since 2016, and no one has learned their lesson. Now, why would I say something like that? Well, let's check out Donald Trump's tweet. Now, Trump, for some reason, tweeted this out. He said, "This is our best fundraising day ever." Oh man, one of our best fundraising days ever. Hold on, that's it. Oh, that's crazy. That was yesterday. He tweeted this out yesterday. Oh, okay. Now why did he say that? Oh, This is why he said that. The GOP raises nearly $1 million the day of the impeachment announcement. The GOP raises nearly $1 million the day of the impeachment announcement. And there you have it, folks. There you have it. People keep pretending like this Trump base is not real. And I know it makes us feel good to believe that Trump's vitriol makes him more unpopular than he actually is. We would love to believe that. But I live in reality. And for whatever reason, not everybody believes that Trump's rhetoric is vitriolic. It's unfortunate. Not everybody believes that his policies hurt the working class. It's unfortunate. Not everybody believes that income inequality is the best factor to determine whether or not an economy is successful. They're looking at GDP in the stock market. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And once again, cannot be stressed enough, a lot of people hate the Democrats because of behavior like we've seen over the last week. So literally, I tweet out at 12 p.m. on the 25th because of these antics from the Democrats. I'm like, they're basically campaigning for Trump at this point. By 10 p.m., same day, the GOP raises $1 million because of impeachment announcements. So once again, you can keep listening to people who are, they're making you feel all good inside. That they're not hitting you with the facts, they're hitting you with the feels. And I know the feels, they feel good. But they don't live in reality. Their arguments are not grounded in reality. Their logic is not grounded in reality. I understand they want to have all these philosophical, pseudo-intellectual debates about what the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do is. But they're not grounded in reality. And not to mention, let me check out these super chats real quick before I mention all that. Black Star Go, Niko, please please ask Tulsi to expose Warren in the next debate. One, she has to get on the same debate stage as her. But two, I don't really like this idea that Tulsi has to expose everybody in a debate. Like, she should do what she does, and focus, especially if there's only going to be 6 people on the debate stage, she should focus on her policies. And if someone tries to outflank her from the left, then absolutely she should expose them, like she did Kamala. Bethlehem, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Ray Foley, thanks for the super chat. DNC wants Trump. That's why impeachment. Better him than Sanders or Tulsi. Yeah, I believe that. That's exactly how they feel. Now, I do want to get to this part. Regarding David Dole, Michael Brooks, and even Mike Figueredo to a degree. Let me be very clear about something. You motherfuckers got some nerve talking about accountability. You got some nerve talking about we have to hold people accountable. We just can't ignore these things. We can't because double back. Now, a lot of you all are new here, so you may not be all that familiar with me. That's fine. I was calling for accountability for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Not only from what we found out about the WikiLeaks, but from the very fact that we found out she did break laws. But the only reason that James Comey didn't prosecute her was because she didn't mean to break the law. His words, not mine. Which is funny because as a black man, I was always taught ignorance of the law is not an excuse to break the law. But while we were calling for accountability, they were guilt tripping everybody into voting for this person who is just as, if not more corrupt than Donald Trump. Not, hey, I would have even been more okay with, hey, do whatever you can to vote Democrats in at the House and the Senate level. Okay, maybe wouldn't agree with all the Democrats that are voted in, but I would have been more okay with that. But instead, because of the hyper partisan environment that we live in and that we commentate in, it was, we have to vote Hillary in. All of a sudden, when it was convenient for their partisan narrative, accountability didn't matter anymore. What Hillary Clinton did to Libya didn't matter anymore. What Hillary Clinton has done in Haiti didn't matter anymore. Hillary Clinton transporting chemical weapons from Libya to Syria didn't matter anymore. Her funding the propaganda in Ukraine didn't matter anymore. The Uranium One deal and the corruption that took place there didn't matter anymore. Her campaign and her people colluding with Andrew McCabe and his wife in Virginia for that race, I ain't forget, it didn't matter anymore. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page conspiring with James Comey and Andrew McCabe to undermine the office of the president of the United States. I don't give a damn if it was Trump. I don't give a damn if it was Obama. I don't give a damn if it was Dr. Seuss. All that didn't matter anymore. The findings of the office of the office of the Inspector General for the FBI didn't matter. The fact that Obama knew, James Comey knew the Clinton Foundation was under investigation, and Obama told James Comey, don't make it public because of the election being at stake. That didn't matter. All of the plethora. Oh, and then, of course, we just found out that Biden literally tried to use leverage against the Ukraine. He tried to use the IMF against the Ukraine. None of that mattered. It was vote blue no matter what. And so, under normal circumstances, I would probably be more okay with impeaching Donald Trump. It would be under normal circumstances, but we don't operate in a vacuum, especially when it comes to politics. You have been absolutely wrong on the issues y'all choose to hyper focus on when it comes to Trump. The Democrats have been. Y'all have been setting him up and making him look good. You got Russiagate wrong. You got James Comey wrong. Turned out he was right for firing him. You got Andrew McCabe wrong. Mueller came out looking like a whole damn fool. Wrong. And Trump comes out with victory after victory after victory, and he comes out looking like the victim every single time. So just like every other issue that you have made public to try and galvanize votes against Trump rather than galvanize votes for policy in favor of the Democratic Party, you failed at trying to imprint these issues onto him. And now it looks political every single time. Every single time it looks political. So now you could even be right, but you're not about the Ukraine thing anyway. But guess what? Won't matter. Why? Because you made it political. So now, and they're like, and then once again, mind you, most of the country clearly did not like Hillary Clinton. And no one is demanding that we still, and it needs to be done, by the way. No one is demanding that we hold Hillary Clinton accountable. Still. But the same people that are demanding that we do this arbitrary impeachment proceeding that will lead to absolutely nothing but Trump's victory, were literally guilt tripping people into voting for Trump or for Hillary, like she was somehow better. Not, oh, vote for Democrats. Once again, that makes a little bit more sense. Vote for Democrats across the board. I wouldn't have necessarily agreed with it, but I would have understood a little bit more of the logic from a pragmatic perspective. Okay, look, we don't like Hillary. Hillary's not better than Trump. But if we get enough Democrats in, we can at least block whatever crazy policies they're pushing, maybe. I get that. You could at least maybe have a little bit more persuasion of the Supreme Court. I get that. But pushing Hillary and then labeling anybody who demands that Hillary be held accountable as some right-wing nut job. And then turning around and pushing for impeachment that you know is based off of nothing but partisan agenda. That you know will do nothing but galvanize his base. That you know most Americans do not support. If you can't see the play on the field, then I don't know what to tell you. Because you're setting yourself up for failure. Because you won't be impeached. The numbers do not favor you. 60% of Americans don't want him impeached. 60%. You don't have enough numbers in the Senate. And then every single thing that y'all have tried to impeach him on is illegitimate. All the legitimate things you could impeach him on, but y'all want to focus on the illegitimate things. So that's 3 strikes. So I 100% agree with Tulsi. Beat him at the ballot box. She can do it. Bernie can do it. Warren cannot. Everybody seems to be in agreement. I might disagree with all of those people that I was just talking about on a lot of things. We all agree on one thing. Warren cannot beat Donald Trump. But that's why they're pushing for impeachment, because they think it'll weaken him so that one of theirs can beat Donald Trump. It won't work, though. So once again, we have to be very wary of establishment narratives, manufactured narratives that are meant to take our eye off the ball, because that's all this is. It's not only a question of impeachment, it's also a question of why now. And why do we start accountability on the left whenever it involves the GOP, but we conveniently ignore corruption on the left if we think it could benefit us? We can't do that. It's not moral absolutism. It's for situations such as these. When you've ignored the corruption on your own side and then you want to call out corruption on the other side, it looks like politics. It looks no different than Charlie Kirk or Joanne Rita Rachel Maddow. It's more politics. So thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. We have some more videos coming your way. Make sure that you subscribe. Go check out my last video, especially if you're from New York, on this important election update. And other than that, or than anything else, always remember, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.